Last year, the new regime wanted to see another great edge rusher on the other side of Maxx Crosby, so they brought in Chandler Jones. That didn't work out the way it was supposed to, as Jones only had 4.5 sacks and the Raider pass rush stayed at the bottom of the NFL. I don't know how much it had to do with anything, but Jones had an elbow injury that ended his season early. So back in May, the Raiders drafted Tyree Wilson at number 7 overall. He had a foot injury, so the new regime had to be wary of that. They started him off slowly, but he appears to be ready after playing in the preseason finale. Jones has been hurt himself for the last week or so, but he's been back at practice for the last couple of days. So who should the Raiders roll with? The move the new regime made for Jones last year doesn't look like a good one right now. Of course, they love him from their time with him in New England. With his height and long arms, he's kind of an edge rusher prototype for them. He's probably a big part of why they picked Wilson. My wild guess is since Wilson has a foot injury, they want to bring him along at a snail's pace and have Jones help teach him the defense and the finer points of edge rushing while making all that money his big contract is paying him. Then when they feel like the kid is ready, he can take over and be the star that he has the talent to be. Okay, all that sounds good, but we can't just gloss over the fact that he's coming off a 4.5 sack season at age 32. Plus he had an elbow injury last year and whatever injury he just had. Are we to believe last year was just a bad year and he's going to be so much better at 33? Are we to believe these are just freak injuries he's having, or is his 33-year-old body breaking down? It's not a good look to end the season with an injury, then start the next season with an injury. We just saw Wilson in his first NFL action in the preseason finale, and we can tell he has the talent to be a dominant player in this league. He obviously wasn't perfect. He missed an opportunity to make a play in the game, and of course, the Cowboys made the Raiders pay for it. That's what happens when you don't take advantage of your opportunities. But that was his first NFL action. He hadn't had much contact up to that point, so he obviously had some rust. And well, how do you get the rust off? You play, that's how. He also has much to learn, and playing is going to teach him most of what he has to learn. When Crosby came up, I said his speed and bend can get him 10 sacks a year before he learns what he needs to learn. Wilson's speed, power, and length can get him 10 sacks a year before he learns what he needs to learn. After Jones' 4.5 sack season last year and injuries, can you be sure he's even capable of a 10 sack season anymore? Therefore, Wilson is the best candidate to start week 1, right? Well, it's not that simple. The new regime is doing all they can to make sure Wilson doesn't re-injure himself. The Raiders are deciding on 2 edge rushers to start on the other side of Crosby in week 1. One is a legend on his way to the Hall of Fame. He's getting paid like he's the guy that should be in there too. However, he wasn't very effective last year, and his body may be breaking down as he ended last year and began this year with an injury. Then they have a number 7 overall pick that has all the tools in the world to become that guy. He can get a good 10 sacks a year just on what he has now. However, he needs to go out there and win and lose some reps so he can learn. The Raiders are trying to be careful with his injury though. Which one would you start in week 1? You make the call. Thank you for watching. See you next time.